Close your eyes for a moment and imagine this. You wake up one day and everything finally feels aligned. Not because the world outside has suddenly changed, not because life magically removed your problems overnight, but because something shifted inside you. Something subtle, yet powerful, clicked into place. A sense of calm, of clarity, as if your heart, your body, your very cells were now whispering the same frequency of what you've always longed for. But maybe, right now, that's not how you feel. Maybe you wake up and everything feels heavy, stuck, as if no matter how much you try, how much you ask, how much you visualize, life keeps echoing back the same reality, the same fears, the same absence of what you truly desire. And deep down, a quiet voice starts to wonder, why isn't it working? What am I doing wrong? And if that voice lives inside you, let me tell you something. It's not your fault. You were never taught the real language of reality. No one told you that the universe, that life itself, doesn't listen to what you say. It listens to what you vibrate. For so long, we were led to believe that reality is something out there, something external, something we must fight, conquer, fix. But what if everything you see is simply a reflection of the signal you are unconsciously transmitting right now? This is the illusion of external control, the exhausting belief that you must chase change out there, when the true source of creation has always been in here, in your body, in your energy, in the frequency that lives beneath your thoughts, beneath your words, beneath your desires. And science is finally catching up to what ancient wisdom always knew. Dr. Bruce Lipton, a pioneer in cellular biology, revealed something profoundly liberating. Through the science of epigenetics, he showed that your cells, your biology, are not controlled by your DNA, but by the environment surrounding them. And that environment is not just the physical world, but the invisible field of your beliefs, your emotions, your vibration. What does this mean? It means that your body is literally listening every second to the frequency of your thoughts, your emotions, your inner narrative. You are not a victim of your genes, you are the programmer. And the code you run, the vibration you emit, becomes the architecture of your reality. But here's the invisible trap, the silent mistake so many make on this path. You try the techniques, the affirmations, the visualizations, but if beneath them, your unconscious is still resonating with fear, with lack, with doubt, then the field, the quantum field, listens to that. Not the words, not the rituals, but the signal beneath. Greg Braden, another brilliant mind in the bridge between science and spirituality, reminds us that the heart, your heart, is not just a metaphor. It is a transmitter, an electromagnetic generator, thousands of times stronger than the brain, and the frequency it emits is shaped not by what you hope, but by what you feel. Coherent emotions like love, gratitude, and peace send a clear signal. Chaotic emotions like fear, desperation, or frustration send static, distortion, confusion into the field. So pause for a moment and ask yourself this. Right now, what am I transmitting? Is it the frequency of trust, of wholeness, of the life I truly desire? Or is it fear, dressed up as hope? Is it longing, pretending to be faith? Is it urgency, whispering quietly, I don't have it yet, I'm still waiting? This is the question that shifts everything, because reality does not respond to what you want. It responds to what you are. There's something profoundly painful, yet almost invisible, that happens inside so many of us. A contradiction, a dissonance, a kind of spiritual tug-of-war between what we think we are asking for and what we are actually vibrating into the field. Maybe, consciously, you say you want abundance. You affirm, I am worthy. You visualize a life of joy, of love, of freedom. But beneath the surface, where your subconscious lives, an old frequency still hums. The frequency of scarcity, of abandonment, of fear, of it's not safe, of it's not possible for me. Bruce Lipton, with his decades of research, revealed something most of the world still doesn't understand. That 95% of your daily life, your decisions, your reactions, your emotions are not being guided by your conscious desires. They are being programmed by subconscious patterns installed before you were even 7 years old, patterns that were never yours to begin with. This is not about blame, this is about awareness, because what was once unconscious can become conscious. And when it becomes conscious, it can be reprogrammed. But here's where so many fall into a subtle trap. You repeat the mantras, you visualize the dream, you declare the affirmations, but the body doesn't believe. The nervous system doesn't believe. The cells still resonate with the chemistry of lack, of rejection, of unworthiness. It becomes a performance, a spiritual performance, words without resonance, rituals without vibration. And the quantum field, it does not respond to what you say. It doesn't respond to what you want. It responds only to the signal you embody, to what your energy declares to be true. And this is where the pain often grows deeper. Because you look around and you don't understand. Why isn't it happening? I'm doing everything right. But what's being broadcast day and night through the antenna of your body is not the frequency of receiving. It's the frequency of longing, of waiting, of separation from the very thing you desire. The field doesn't care about the sentence, "I am abundant." It listens to whether your nervous system, your breath, your heartbeat are vibrating the frequency of abundance. Or whether, beneath the words, it hears the echo of, "I am still not there." Reality isn't responding to what you consciously hope for. It's responding to the electromagnetic signature you unconsciously emit. Not the mind's desire, but the body's belief. And maybe, just maybe, that's why everything feels stuck. Not because you're broken, but because you've been taught to change reality from the surface instead of from the signal. There is a secret law, written not in books, but in the very fabric of reality. A law that whispers that nothing, absolutely nothing, manifests until coherence is present, until your thoughts, your emotions, and your body become one single signal, one unified vibration. Most people don't realize that the most powerful electromagnetic field in your body is not the brain, it's the heart. The HeartMath Institute, whose discoveries are echoed by minds like Greg Braden and Bruce Lipton, reveals something astonishing. The electromagnetic field of the heart is 5,000 times more powerful than that of the brain. 5,000 times. Just pause with that for a moment. What does that mean? It means that what you think has influence, but what you feel radiates into the field with unimaginable force. Your heart becomes the transmitter, the broadcaster, and the message it sends shapes the very probabilities that collapse into your lived reality. But here's the painful truth. Most people are living in incoherence. The mind says one thing, the heart feels another. The body remembers something else entirely. The thoughts beg for healing, but the emotions echo fear. The nervous system holds the memory of pain, and the field responds to the chaos, not to the words. This is why so many people live in a cycle of frustration. They ask, they hope, they visualize, but the incoherence creates static in the field. Imagine trying to tune into a radio station, but the signal is filled with noise, distortion, interference. The message doesn't get through. The frequency collapses in confusion. The reality never shifts. Physics itself confirms this. In quantum mechanics, the observer collapses probability into reality, but the instruction to the field, the very command that chooses what wave becomes particle, is your frequency. And frequency is not made of thoughts alone. It is made of coherent emotion, embodied presence, and a nervous system that feels safe enough to believe. Without coherence, manifestation is not creation. It becomes waiting, hoping, wondering, asking why life doesn't change. But with coherence, something miraculous happens. Reality bends, possibilities shift. The field starts responding to the truth of what you've become. And the truth is, you were never meant to create from desperation. You were designed to create from alignment. There is a paradox, quiet, subtle, yet deeply painful, that so many souls encounter on the path of transformation. It's the paradox of wanting something so deeply that the very act of wanting becomes the signal that keeps it away. You feel it, that urgency, that pressure, that quiet, desperate whisper that says, when? When will it finally happen? And though it looks like determination on the surface, beneath, it's often a frequency of absence, a vibration quietly declaring, it's not here yet. I don't have it. I am still waiting. Joe Dispenza, whose work merges neuroscience and quantum consciousness, explains this beautifully. When your body, your chemistry, your nervous system is conditioned to the emotions of the past, you cannot create the future. You can't broadcast the frequency of the new when your biology is still addicted to the old. Think about that. Your body becomes chemically addicted to familiar emotions, whether it's fear, disappointment, lack, or loneliness. And even when your mind says, I choose abundance, the body whispers, but this is how we've always felt. This is what's familiar. This is safe. And this is how desire turns into a block. Because the urgency to change, the obsession with seeing the outcome, isn't actually a frequency of trust. It's a frequency of lack, camouflaged as spiritual ambition. A subtle declaration to the universe that says, I am not there yet. I am not whole yet. I am not safe yet. This is spiritual anxiety, a form of nervous anticipation, disguised as manifestation. But the field doesn't respond to the words. It responds to the vibration beneath the words. And if the vibration is I am still waiting, then waiting becomes the reality. So how do you step out of this loop? By recognizing that the obsession with changing is itself the barrier to change. That as long as your nervous system is addicted to the chemistry of the past, you are rehearsing the old reality, even as you try to create the new. It's not about forcing the outcome. It's about breaking the addiction to the emotional past. It's about teaching the body to feel something different now, not when the manifestation comes, but before, as the prerequisite, not as the reward. Because in the quantum field, reality doesn't respond to the one who waits. It responds to the one who becomes. There is a moment, a sacred turning point, where the seeker becomes the creator. A moment when you stop chasing the external and begin embodying the internal. A moment when the question shifts from, how do I get it, to how do I become it? Bruce Lipton's work reminds us that every belief, every thought, every emotion creates a biochemical signal. Your body is a living antenna, constantly transmitting, constantly receiving, and the signal it sends is the blueprint that reality follows. But here's the key. The field doesn't respond to what you say. It doesn't respond to what you hope. It responds to what you've become in your nervous system, in your breath, in your heartbeat, in the very chemistry of your being. So how does one shift from wanting to being? It begins with perception, with awareness, with catching the silent thoughts that trigger the chemistry of scarcity. That moment when an old voice whispers, it's not safe, it's not possible, it won't happen for me. That voice is not the truth. It's just the echo of a past program, a memory, a survival script that your body has mistaken for reality. And in that moment, there is a choice, a gentle, powerful, sacred choice, the choice to breathe deeply, consciously, to bring the heart into coherence, to slow the breath, as if whispering to the nervous system, we are safe now, we are free
We
now.
are allowed to feel differently. And then, the practice of memory, but not the memory of pain, the memory of wholeness, of love, of moments when you felt truly safe, truly grateful, truly alive, even if they were small, even if they were brief. Because the body doesn't care if the memory is from yesterday, or from 30 years ago, or even imagined. It only cares about the feeling, about the chemistry, about the signal. As you breathe, and as you focus, that feeling begins to anchor, to expand, to replace the old chemical signatures of fear and lack with the new vibration of gratitude, of peace, of completeness. And in that state, something remarkable happens. You stop asking, when will it come? Because the body, the heart, the field, begins to feel as if it's already here, as if it's already done. And that is the frequency the universe responds to. Not words, not desires, but the embodiment of the reality you seek, the signal that says, I no longer wait for it.
I am it. Because reality doesn't follow the language of asking. It follows the language of being. Imagine, for a moment, that your mind, your body, your energy are like a radio, a beautiful, complex, living transmitter designed to tune into frequencies and receive whatever matches that signal. You sit in front of this radio and you long to hear a specific song, the song of abundance, of love, of healing, of freedom. You close your eyes, you whisper, "I want to hear 98.7 FM. You repeat it. You say it with passion, with faith. You declare it over and over. 98.7, 98.7, 98.7. But your radio is tuned to 104.5 FM. And no matter how much you speak the number, no matter how loudly you ask, the radio only gives you what matches the frequency it's set to. It keeps playing the station of scarcity, of waiting, of separation, not because the universe is cruel, not because you are unworthy, but because the universe is frequency. The quantum field is frequency. Your body, your beliefs, your heart are the dial, the tuner. It doesn't matter what the mouth says. If the tuner is set to the wrong station, it doesn't matter how many times the mind repeats, "I am abundant." If the body still vibrates the chemistry of fear, of lack, of "it's not safe," reality is not about asking, it's about tuning. Bruce Lipton puts it with profound clarity. If you want to change your life, you have to change the station of your beliefs. Because your beliefs are not just thoughts. They are electromagnetic commands, biochemical codes, vibrational blueprints, and the field, the infinite field of possibility, simply mirrors back the song you are tuned to. You cannot force 98.7 to play while holding the dial at 104.5. You cannot force a reality of abundance while the nervous system still anchors in the frequency of survival. The universe does not respond to force. It responds to alignment. This is the great remembering, the sacred truth that was never taught, that you are not here to beg reality to change. You are here to change the signal, to become the frequency of what you seek, not later, not when it happens, but now, because reality doesn't listen to what you want, it listens to what you are. There is a truth, so simple, so profound, and yet so often forgotten. You do not create what you want, you create what you are. You create what you vibrate. You create the frequency you have chosen, consciously or unconsciously, to embody. Bruce Lipton calls it the biology of belief. Your body is not just flesh and bones. It is a living antenna, a sophisticated transmitter, sending signals into the quantum field every second of every day. And those signals are not determined by your wishes. They are shaped by your beliefs, by the programs running silently beneath your conscious mind, by the emotions woven into your nervous system, and the stories you have unknowingly told yourself for years. Neville Goddard captured it in a single sentence that holds the power to transform a lifetime. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, not someday, not when it arrives, but now, because the field, the universe, God, responds not to asking, but to the embodiment of the reality already claimed. And yet, here is the most overlooked pattern. Every time, every single time, you slip back into fear, into doubt, into rush, into the silent whisper of, "Why is it taking so long?" You unknowingly reprogram the field. You reinforce the frequency of absence, of, "It's not here," of, "I am still waiting." The field doesn't judge. It doesn't punish. It doesn't delay out of cruelty. It simply mirrors. It mirrors back the most consistent signal, the dominant vibration, the one your heart and nervous system broadcast most often. So the real question, the question that changes everything, is not when will it happen, not how do I make it come, but rather, when will I become the one who already lives it inside? When will my nervous system feel that it is already safe, already real, already done? Because the quantum field does not wait for you to deserve it. It waits for you to align with it. And the moment you do, the moment your vibration shifts from longing to being, from separation to wholeness, the reality must follow.
Not because you forced it, not because you begged, but because that is the law. That is the nature of reality itself. And maybe, just maybe, this is not just about getting what you want. Maybe it's about remembering who you truly are, a being of frequency, of consciousness, of infinite creative power, a soul who was never broken, only disconnected from the truth of its own vibration.